Hey, 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 welcome back to the Fuel Yourself audio cast. I'm your host, Shawana Mays, certified life and wellness coach who helps women stop the habit of chronic quitting. And I teach them how to create unstoppable follow through with any goal, no matter what. Listen, we're currently on episode 24. Seriously, I'm just moving right along with this audio cast, and it really feels good to be here in this space. And if you listen to this episode all the way through, be sure and leave a comment and just share with me like your takeaways in the YouTube comments section. Okay. That is my ask for today. I would love to get some comments on these audio casts. Like that would be like freaking super cool as I'm building this thing. All right. Now, I have to warn you, this episode is going to be short and sweet because I want to be able to get to a specific point without this being too long and for you to just quickly understand the message that I am going to deliver. So, in this episode, I titled it Life Happens. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this life happening is because this topic it comes up a lot when I'm coaching my clients or when I'm just talking to women in general, just like, out in the world in conversation. Like, not in the sense that quote unquote life happens to all of us, which is true because no one is exempt, not even me. I know you want to believe that I am, but I'm not. So I just want to remind you of that. But in the sense that we notice life happening more when we're going after a goal or a result in our lives. And life happening is when we experience like a challenge or challenges because there's always likely going to be more than one challenge that comes up in your life, like when we're going through the process of taking action towards a goal. All right, so I just want you to think about a goal in your life that you tried to achieve in the past, a goal that where you are now in your current life has not happened because you didn't follow through all the way to the end result. So just think about that for a second. Like, what goal was that? And think about why you believe you didn't actually achieve that goal. Now, of course, when you set the goal, the intent was to follow through because that's always the reason why we set the goal. It's the reason why we create the plan of action because we want that end result. And we realize how much that end result will have such a positive impact on our lives. So we set the goal, and in the moment, we can actually see the outcome. Like we dream about the outcome, and that outcome feels good to us. So it is what we want to work towards to achieve, right? Now, I want to share an example of life happening when you decide to set a goal. So, again, you set a goal. Now, the process towards reaching the goal begins and you're taking actions toward achieving the goal. Everything is good. There hasn't been a challenge or an obstacle that's presented itself yet. You keep taking the actions, you keep learning, you keep making progress. You might even experience a little bit of discomfort and taking the actions because it may be new, especially if you're trying something different to reach the goal, but you keep going anyway. Now, in the midst of you walking through this process to reach your goal, your job tells you that your current position is being moved from a first shift position to a third shift position. Now, this is a change in your life that's probably presenting some major discomfort because one, you've already built a habit of living your life around a first shift position. So now you're probably experiencing thoughts of trying to figure out how you're going to live a life around a third shift position, how everything is going to be wrong now, and how your life is going to be so messed up. And then you start feeling all these negative emotions around all of these thoughts that you're thinking. And on top of that, you start thinking about this goal that you've been working towards. And you start to use this change that is happening at your job as a reason why you shouldn't have started the goal in the first place, or why you can't follow through because life keeps happening. So you quit going after the goal. And this has been your habit of quitting when a challenge or an obstacle presents itself while you're going after a goal. This has been a normal process for you, a normal habit of decision making. Now, this is how most of us in this world operate. We make a challenge or an obstacle mean that we should quit on our goal. And guess what? We do. Now, of course, I get to teach my clients how to navigate through obstacles and challenges that come up in their lives, like in the midst of them actually going after a goal. I teach them how to bring awareness to the real reason why the lack of follow through keeps happening. It's not the circumstance, but we definitely find out the real reason. Now, it's always a different reason for every person, but I use the same tool that helps them to solve for it every single time, because solving for it takes them out of the chronic quitting habit. It brings clarity to their problem and the solution, and it sets them up to create any result that they want to see in their life. And then they have this skill of follow through for the rest of their lives, which is a major changing win. It's a life changing win. Now, let's turn that situation around. You are just simply living life. You're not going after any goals. You just wake up, you go to work, you come home, you eat dinner, you go to bed. It's pretty much like the same routine every day. Then your job tells you that your current position is being moved from a first shift position to a third shift position. Now, this change in your life that is probably presenting some major discomfort because one, you've already built a habit of living your life around a first shift position. So now you're probably experiencing thoughts of trying to figure out how you're going to live a life around a third shift position. Everything is going to be wrong now, and how your life is going to be so messed up. And then you start to think to yourself, like, life is happening. So it's like you can also see so clearly that now you have a challenge that has presented itself in your life. And since you're deciding to keep your job, you figure out how to build your life around this third shift position. Now, the only difference here is you didn't have a goal that you were going after, but life still happened and you figured out how to live with this new change in your life. Now, in these two examples, I wanted to point out so clearly how life happens. It happens when you have a goal, and it happens when you don't have a goal. Life will always be happening. This is something that I myself had to really deeply understand. This was the work. Now, if we can sit with the fact that life will always be happening, we can embrace it. We can understand that life will be what it will be. It has it really has less of a negative effect on us when it does happen, like when life is happening. It doesn't mean that while life is happening, it's not going to bring up negative emotions because, like, yeah, it most definitely will bring up all the negative thoughts and feelings. It's the reason why I believe learning how to navigate your brain around challenges and obstacles happening in your life is such valuable work. Because when you set a goal and you intend to follow through with that goal, you want to be able to follow through with that goal, no matter what comes up in your life. It is a simple process. It's not an easy one, but it's simple. And it's the only way to create the changes that you want to see in your life. Now, are you that woman who wants to create habits that survive real life situations so that you can follow through with reaching any of your goals? If so, then I invite you to go deeper with this work with me. I'll help you create a whole new self identity by teaching you how to walk through that process to become that woman who follows through and creates any result, no matter what. So let's do it. All right. You can book a free life and wellness consultation with me through my website at www.royalrenewal.info. Now, for now, I'm wishing you a whole lot of peace, a whole lot of ease, and a whole lot of love. And I will see you on the next episode. Peace.